Hello and welcome to another One Piece chapter review. We're back for the third week in a row. This week we have chapter 1151. That's enough. I've got this. We continue Yamato's journey in the cover story this week as she continues her travels through Hakumai, the same village where Enma's shrine resides. She's participating in a sumo competition, the same one that Luffy participated in during his time in Wano. Yamato easily defeats Urishima's big brother, and we get to see Kawamatsu in the background. So he's having a great time. I love seeing him. He's one of my favorite characters from the Wano arc. Oda's such a tease though. I know something's coming from Wano. And just like I said last week, it's just a matter of when things pop off here, not if. So the rising tension that's building in the background is unbearable right now. Ugh. Anyway, moving into the chapter proper, we continue from last week, exactly where we left off, from the giant warrior pirates POV, and they're freaking out still. They're still trying to figure out what's wrong with Dory and Broggy. They're trying to wake them up by saying anything they can, like, "Come on, Captain, please, you know it's us, come on." In response to the cries for Dory and Broggy to wake up from their madness, Dory and Broggy exposition to the giant warrior pirates how broken and old King Jarl is, and how it's up to them to put him out to pasture, and to reign Elbaph, and restore it to its former glory of war. Waymo and Kashi just stood there stunned by what Captain Dory and Broggy are saying. They're like, "This isn't you guys, we looked up to you guys for so long. Like, what's going on? This isn't right." There's another giant who's trying to get Kashi to move, and he's like, "Come on man, we gotta go, they're just charging right at us, come on." And as he's trying to get Kashi to move, one of those flaming circles that appeared under Broggy and the rest of the giants appears under him, flipping him into a demon and transforming him. As that happens, we see a panel of some sort of board game, and one of the white pieces moves and is flipped to black, signifying that this is all just a game to Emu, which I totally missed last week. But that begs the question, in this game, what can transform a black piece back into a white piece? Oh man, is this arc gonna be like an unofficial Davy back fight part 2? Where crewmates are flipping sides constantly? And then Foxy's gonna show up halfway through and use this slow fruit to slow down Emu so Luffy can get a punch on him? It's like, hold on a second. He might be cooking here. Maybe not, but this could be. The way that this is being outlined and portrayed as a game, it very much well could be. It very much could be a representation of what happened in the Davy back fights. But moving back into the chapter. After Tallman is transformed, the giants realize that there's basically no reason to stay back and fight. They're losing people, they're losing ground, and it was just communicated to them that Scopper Gabon was defeated, giving Ripley a brand new sense of urgency to save both her son and check in on Scopper's condition. Meanwhile, the kids, after being completely rendered unconscious due to that massive burst of haki from Emu, are asleep, and they're hearing what the adult giants basically just heard, via the transponder snails throughout the island. Unfortunately, they also hear the update about Dory, Broggy, and the other giant pirates turning into demons. This piece of critical information drastically alters the current future of this fight, allowing for demons to manifest from Killingham's nightmare fissures on top of everything else that's being summoned. Killingham then resurrects all of the previously defeated nightmare creatures across the island and commands them to ramp up the intensity of their attacks. This time, however, Killingham himself is jumping into the fray, transforming from his initial goofy form of his Kirin fruit into his hybrid form, showcasing us his human form. And he looks so cool. I'm so mad. Like, how? How did this goofy little guy right here, this goober, end up being this guy right here? He looks so cool.
Admit it, Benson. No, you're not cool. How about now, Benson? No.
He looks very similar to like Katakuri. And he's just so cool, and he's so much more menacing now. Like he was really holding himself back earlier, and I don't know why. I questioned this last chapter. The more that we're seeing from his power and the more he explains it, there's no reason that any struggle should have happened at all. Like, he should have been here alone, doing all of this stuff by himself, and he could have handled it. So now that Emu's here, he's going all out. Like, Killingham seems like a really different person right now. Like, he's just very aggressive. He's going all out. His power is buffed. He's using it to the full extent. He's not messing around. He even sounds different and talks different right now. While Killingham is being a badass off in the background and unleashing his monstrosities, the Straw Hats who are tied up are seeing all of this go down. And Jinbei, always with the most reasonable takes, states that things have really spiraled out of control. And he's absolutely correct, because things have just completely done a 180. Because just like on Egghead, things seem to be coming and going in terms of who has the upper hand each chapter. But Usopp is actually watching on in horror as Dory and Bragi are transformed, and he's screaming out in sheer desperation to try and wake them up, trying to appeal to their giant's sense of pride. To no avail. Now we cut back to the kids, and more adult pirates have shown up to help them. Not everyone was knocked out from the hockey blast, which is great. That means these characters are at least somewhat strong and capable. Before we cut away to an overview of the island, where we get to see the towering figure of all the new giant pirates, the nightmare creatures, and the fires that are breaking out currently, as the Holy Knights try and discuss with Emu what their game plan is. We get a little bit more information about Killingham's fruit in the form of exposition from Emu, and Emu claims that the creatures will carry on as long as they have enough energy to do so. Or if they run out of energy, they'll destroy themselves. And I wonder if it's for the creatures themselves that Emu is referring to, or the Nightmare Fisher. Because we've seen the Nightmare creatures be destroyed very easily. They're fairly weak, and they can be destroyed without any sort of buffs or hockey. So I wonder if the Fishers can create basically anything for a set amount of time. Like maybe Killingham can expunge a certain amount of his own hockey to keep the portal open, but over time it will drain his stamina. Almost like Luffy when he goes into Gear 5. We'll have to find out a little bit more, but for now, that's all we know. These damn nightmares are going to be a huge problem, regardless. Anyway, moving on. We're cutting back to Chopper, and I may have jumped the gun last time we saw Chopper, because I boldly claimed that Chopper had used Skywalk to pick up Scopper on his back and jump down to safety. We learned in this chapter that not only does Chopper not even have Skywalk, he didn't even think about it when he jumped off the edge of the cliff. He was just like, I need to follow him, and just did it. He's such a little guy. What a goober. Yeah, that's crazy. I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he just jumped off the cliff without hockey. The thing is, too, is it might be possible still for him, because we see him do this goofy little cartoon run. They're not near a trunk of a tree for him to do that, so he's running on the air. So it's almost like a pseudo Skywalk, but it's only to catch up with Scopper. It's not to get to safety or anything. And we also see that Scopper still has those arrows pierced in his chest, so Inko was able to cut him off like an actual arrow, and it wasn't like what happened with Sabo. It wasn't a piercing of Emu's tail or something. But Chopper actually gets beneath Scopper and uses guard point to cushion his blow, which makes sense. And since we see Chopper down here in the land of the dead, we decide to finally cut back to Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Haruden, and Loki, along with the rest of the new giant pirates. And Haruden and Loki are arguing about the death of their father, and if Loki actually had murdered Harl. But in the middle of their argument, Luffy's like, hey, I think I just heard Chopper fall down. Which is really interesting, because that means his observation hockey is getting really strong. It's not as good as Scopper's, mind you, because he was able to detect everyone on the island. And that means Luffy can't reach into the higher levels of Elbaph, but he could see everyone on the realm of the dead, though. So there's a very strong possibility that this arc, Luffy can unlock some sort of hockey burst, just like Joy Boys, which will probably be enough to push away the Holy Knights. and Emu by the end of it. But enough speculation. Right now, Luffy's questioning how he even knew Chopper was in the realm of the dead. And he knows that someone's with him, but he just doesn't know who. And Zoro and Sanji are like, okay, something must be going on. If he's just tumbling down into the realm of the dead, let's go find him. So the Straw Hats go to pick up Chopper. They leave Gerd and Goldberg with Loki to watch over it. And he's trying to tempt him, like, you want any jewels, or you want me to kill someone for you? Typical Loki, get out of his chains still. And they're immune to it. They know Loki. They're like, no. But as he's like, okay, whatever, the Den Mushi on Loki's shoulder actually starts to ring. And someone who's familiar with him and friendly with him starts talking. He claims this person's name is Mosa. And wherever they're at, they seem to be very busy and they have their hands full. They want to communicate with Loki one last time before they get exposed or something happens to them. And hearing this news, Loki actually is very concerned and freaks out. And Gerd and Goldberg are just listening to this like, who the heck is this? What is this? And this Mosa person tells Loki that they enjoyed the conversations they had while he was tied up, and it was a great experience for them. It calmed them. It was very therapeutic, and they want to talk to Loki and keep up this friendship that they have. And Loki is just very, very concerned this whole time. He's like, what's happening to you? What's going on? And he mentions something that he's privy to about some sort of business or something that Mosa is embroiled in. And it sounds like whatever it is, it kind of has popped its ugly head up again, causing her to disappear and not be able to communicate. I'm sure we'll find out more about this person, but for now, it's a nice little tidbit that someone's, maybe not even a giant, maybe a marine, is communicating with Loki and has built a very strong relationship. And this might be a key that comes in later. But as Mosa hangs up after saying goodbye, Gerd is in the back just chuckling and tells Loki that it's great that he's actually found someone he can lean on, even here in the land of the dead. Ryuden and the Straw Hats arrive with Chopper and Scopper, and this is the moment we actually get the reveal we've all been waiting for. Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats learn that Scopper Gabon is a former member of the Roger Pirates, and Luffy's predictably completely surprised. And they're breaking down his role on the Pirate King's crew, like he's one of the top 3. He's actually the 3rd strongest person on the crew. He definitely takes that bronze. And they're all like, whoa, he was a big shot, that's crazy. And they're hyping him up and everything. And he starts to move. It's like, oh, he must be okay. He's moving. He must want to say something. And he lifts his hand up ever so slightly with 2 fingers raised. And he's like, I was second. He couldn't let the comment slide. He's just like Sanji. And they're really happy that he's okay. He's alive at the very least. There's a possibility of him recovering. Of course, it's One Piece, so of course. And finally, Chopper breaks down to Luffy about everything that's happening up top, with the kids being taken hostage, the Holy Knights, the Nightmare Creatures, and the fires that have broken out now too. And right as Chopper's about to tell Luffy everything, a massive hockey burst just flashes throughout the entire island, causing everyone, and I mean everyone, to stop and look towards the sky. Whatever they felt in this hockey burst was enough to get everybody mobilized. Ryuden immediately tells everyone, we need to get up to the Sun Realm right now. Elbaph is in danger. Luffy just tells the Chopper to stop talking, and he's going right now. And Loki just is grinning and laughing in the background. He can't believe the power that he's feeling. He's like, what is this ridiculous hockey I'm feeling? You guys really need my power this time. There's so many questions about what that massive hockey burst could actually be. I think right now there's 3 possibilities, and one of them I don't think is very likely. First is the least likely, and that's Emu or Inko. That's Inko releasing another massive hockey burst like when they first arrived, but that wouldn't make a lot of sense because everybody on the island would have probably already felt that, so everyone would be familiar with it, including Scopper. Scopper wouldn't have been surprised because he would have already felt Emu's hockey from earlier. So I think we could rule that one out fairly easily. Emu released Gunko from their possession and has actually shown up physically on the island. I'm not sure about how likely that is, but considering the massive hockey burst that got everyone to stop what they're doing, I think that's a very strong possibility. The only other option I think besides Emu showing up and releasing that hockey burst would be for Shamrock to show up once again, similar to that of Shanks when he first encountered Kid on the island. And honestly, I think either one of those options would be great. I don't know how likely it is that Emu would actually show up now that we've seen that possession is an option. Also considering the fact that apparently the Holy Land is on fire and probably under siege right now from an unknown assailant. It could be the revolutionaries again. It could be the Blackbeard pirates. I would lean towards the Blackbeard pirates this time though. There's so much going on this week. There's so much happening. There's a lot of pieces moving, but we finally have Luffy, Loki, and the new giant pirates moving in and mobilizing. This is it. This is the turning point of Elbaph right now. This is where things are about to pop off. The fights are about to go down. A lot more powers have been introduced on top of ones we've already seen. And it's just gonna be a crazy chapter. It's about to be just a crazy end of the arc here. I think the arc's gonna wrap up here in the future, probably within the next 20 to 30 chapters. We're about to see some crazy stuff and probably some really damning lore drops here on Elbaph. This has been a fantastic set of chapters here in the last couple weeks, and I really hope they keep coming. I didn't see at the end if there was a break next week. As far as I'm aware, we're still going, but if not, we got a stacked month ahead of us for some movies. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter down below. What do you think of the reveal of Killingham's actual human form? Who do you think showed up at the very end of the chapter? Or was it anyone new? What do you think is going to happen here in the coming chapters? Let me know in the comments below. This summer we've got a stacked lineup of movies that I'm actually very genuinely interested in, so stay tuned. Anyway, this is the Dinoaur, and this has been another One Piece chapter review. Thanks for stopping in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.